beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder why it's that.
No, that wasn't Al Sharpton. That is Joe Biden. And really, his defenders on cable TV and elsewhere, these liberal Democrats, they humiliate themselves when they try to pretend that when Donald Trump gets a word wrong or a thought wrong, that it's comparable to this absolute mental mess. That was Joe Biden. He sounds like Foster Brooks when Foster Brooks used to play the sort of the drunk on TV. Let's listen again carefully. See if you can discern what the man is saying. Go ahead.
Beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder why it's that.
They're laughing at him. And so as we continue to collect the mumblers, he's now part of the mumblers. He'll be the last mumbler. Let's hear the mumblers. Go right ahead, Mr. Producer.
Can it get a finding? The ghost track?
They have an idea. It costs they just gave them
with the withdraw, bringing U.S. home troops from home,
and the you need somebody. Wait, so what? Finally, what?
Budget.
But resist we much. We must and we will much about that be committed.
I'm a warrior.
It was. Did
I mean, they said that.
Look, the was it him?
Why? I didn't. If we
we can walk and chew gum.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. True international effort to pressure.
Been impeached for inciting the insurrection.
Donald John Trump incited the insurrection.
And what am I doing here? I'm going to lose track here. And
To confidence in the integrity.
private economic. No, don't let him. You know how much I'm going to do with the deficit this year? Bridges and those bullets that are collapsing.
And, it is.
Happy birthday, dear Levin.
Part of I introduce some of you to some of the leadership of
Katanji drowned Jackson. You docs are good. If there's any angels in heaven, they're all nurses, male and female. God save the Queen, man.
President Trump incited an erection.
Mess with the women on America. Beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder why it's that.
There's your ruling class, America. There's your elites. What a bunch of crackpots. What a bunch of mental patients. There's your elites, starting with Joe Biden. They want to run your country. They want to run your household. They want to decide what you can drive. Or they want to decide everything. Your children's sex. Very important people. Now, we have something going on today. And I want to say something to the United States Supreme Court, the majority, the 5 justices, who voted against the Constitution, who voted against securing the border, and voted against their own precedent, which requires a president to actually take care that the laws are enforced. Joe Biden has systematically obliterated our border, and he's done so by systematically obliterating our immigration laws. We literally have the worst type and level of slavery going on in this country since the Civil War, taking place right now. Right now. With the media basically ignoring it or defending it. We have slavery taking place in our country right now. We don't need to talk about the past. Let's talk about now. Now, who's in charge? Joe Biden, the man who was a segregationist and a racist. A man of the Jim Crow South. A man who supported segregated public schools. Now he goes around preaching about democracy and freedom when he's not making other slurs against black people. This is who the Democrats are rallying behind in their media. This is who they promote, but we shouldn't be surprised. They also rally around Hamas and promote them too. What a bunch of sick bastards. I'm not kidding. But I'm specifically talking to the 5 justices on the Supreme Court, Chief Justice Roberts and Associate Justice Barrett in particular. Are you pleased? Are you pleased that by voting with the other 3, that you've now created a constitutional crisis? Are you pleased that you're now going to have the Texas National Guard and Texas law enforcement poised against the feds, potentially active duty military? Or it's possible that Joe Biden will federalize the National Guard, which was done by Republican and some Democrat and a Democrat president to prevent Orville Faubus and, of course, George Wallace from blocking the schoolhouse door the way Joe Biden blocks the schoolhouse door to any good school that happens to be in a black or minority neighborhood. But now we have a confrontation. And I don't know how it's going to end. But I tell you over and over again in my book, The Democrat Party Hates America, that this is not a normal political party. It is a autocratic party. It wants complete power and complete control. And I want to salute all those hosts on TV and radio who've obviously read the book. This is a party that will do anything for power. And as I say in the book, you've got to look at the Democrat Party through the lens of power. They will do anything to anybody. They will say anything to anybody. And can you imagine, Mr. Producer, that the federal government, either federalizing the National Guard or using federal troops or whatever they might or may not do, I don't know, would do so in order to protect slavery? In order to keep the border open? So potential terrorists and MS-13 and other criminals come across the border so the drug cartels continue to make tens of billions of dollars off of Biden's policies? Can you imagine sending in federal law enforcement or even the Army to do such a thing? I mean, obviously, Greg Abbott's been driven to the edge of what he can do here. He is citing 2 provisions of the Constitution. They're both there in black and white. There's no provision in the Constitution, none, that gives the President of the United States the power to defy federal law. That's an impeachable offense, as I've said over and over and over and yet over again. And that needs to be the first issue when it comes to impeaching Joe Biden. And it needs to be raised now and taken very seriously, because of all the horrors he's creating on both sides of the border. What's happening to women and little kids sold into sex slavery and pornography. That's on Joe Biden's hands. He's a one-man disaster. And these clowns, they go on TV defending him, trying to draw parallels between him and Trump. There are no parallels. Zero. They're so offended by the speech he gave Tuesday night. They're not offended by Hamas slaughtering Jews, no. They're not offended by Hamas supporters in the streets talking about the Third Reich and gas chambers, no. They're not offended by what's going on the southern border. Rabid criminality. Rampant slavery. Not that doesn't offend them. Trump offends them. What Trump said offends them. These are sick people. Sick. Look what Biden has done. with federal law enforcement. Look at what they've done with the local law enforcement. And now it's clear that there were discussions between the office of Fannie, the hell's her name? Fannie Mae or something? Fannie Willis. Yeah, Fannie Mae. Remember Fannie Mae, Mr. Producer? That turned out well, too. Fannie Willis and the White House. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden's behind it all. All of it. And then they said, can you prove it? You don't have proof. This is the way it works. I can prove it. Look at what's going on. It's not a coincidence. We're not stupid. It's a massive cover-up effort, but it's also a massive election interference effort because Joe Biden doesn't think he can win by the vote. Neither do his people. That's why they're very giddy about these prosecutions. That's why they say, one conviction, that's all we need. One conviction, and then he's a convicted criminal. They tell you, they signal to you what they're up to. This is why it's way above the head of the legal analysts. They don't understand what's going on. I understand what's going on. What's happening to our country and our Constitution. As they write at Breitbart, Texas Governor Greg Abbott asserts Texas's constitutional right. And what he means by Texas's constitutional right, he means under the federal Constitution. States have rights to defend themselves against invasions. They have independent rights apart from the federal government. But John Roberts and Justice Barrett apparently don't know how to read the Constitution because they fall in line with the left. They fall in line with the ruling elite. Why? Because John Roberts, more than anything else, is part of the Washington elite. It's what he is. He's buddies with Thomas Friedman. They have a good time going to the Kennedy Center. This is what we're dealing with. But no, Trump is the threat to democracy. Not John Roberts. Trump is the threat to democracy, not Joe Biden. Trump is the threat to democracy, not Jake Tapper. Oh no, they're all just fantastic. He asserts Texas's constitutional right to defend and protect itself as it relates to the ongoing border crisis crippling the state. Let me be specific. When the President of the United States is purposely violating his oath of office and the Constitution, respecting his absolute responsibility to ensure that the laws of the land are taken care of, that is enforced. That's what the Constitution says. Then Texas has a right under another part of the Constitution to defend itself against invasions. This is an invasion. This is not immigration. This is an invasion. Immigration is nothing like this. In the Supreme Court, these 5 justices sit on their asses, make sure they have nice, cleaned and ironed black robes. Everything's cool. Oh, Your Honor, Your Honor. Oh, Your Honor, Your Honor. It's amazing. It's amazing, these activist justices and activist judges. And they're all over the damn place now. Even some of them dressed up as Republicans. They insist that you follow their orders. And yet they don't follow the Constitution. And I wrote about this in Men in Black. How do they expect people to respect them when they don't respect the law itself? And this was black and white. Black and white. Biden is destroying our border by destroying our immigration laws, which destroys the provision of the Constitution that compels him to take care that the laws are enforced, whether he likes them or not. The governor of Texas, who himself is a lawyer, he says, well, then we have a right to secure our border. And the Supreme Court says, actually, you don't. And we don't know why they don't explain it. I'm sure it's some cockamamie, bastardized view of federalism. Or even reverse federalism.